hypnosis for their births. And I was like, that's it.
Hello, Empower Nation. Welcome back to another episode of Empower Her Money. I am your host, Angela Duncan, money coach helping female entrepreneurs master their money. And the podcast gives back tips and action items that you can implement right away in your personal and your business life. Today, I am excited because we're going to take a different approach to money mindset. And I'm very interested to hear what Kerry Tuschhoff, who is the founder of Hypno Babies, what she can add to our audience. And let's talk about hypnosis. Hi.
Hi, Angela. I am delighted to be here. I always love talking about how hypnosis can enhance people's lives in any way.
Yeah. Awesome. I once went to, I think it was Magic Mountain back when I lived in California, and I watched a show on stage. And I know a lot of this is for entertainment, but I wondered what that would feel like to be hypnotized. So I'm very curious about your expertise in this field.
Thank you. We will talk in a few minutes about what hypnosis is and is not, and what you just described is part of the not.
Yeah. That's what I figured. It's for entertainment. So tell us a little bit about your journey, how you got started, and then how you came about to find your company.
Well, okay. I am the founder and director of Hypno Babies, Hypnobirthing, childbirth education. And it actually got created because of my own two very, very painful births way back when. And in case people have already had babies and they understand that both of the babies were posterior, my two children, and that means their heads were turned around so that their back of their heads was scraping on the nerves in my back all the way down and out. And it felt like a knife with every contraction. And so with the first birthing, I was very traumatized. I had already been a childbirth educator for what's called the Bradley method. And I thought I knew everything about having a baby. No, you can only go so far with relax, So I was traumatized afterwards, and it took me 4 years to get pregnant again and get up the nerve to have another baby. And although the first birthing was 36 hours and the second, and ended up with an epidural, by the way, I have a very generous respect for people who choose the epidural because they don't have anything else. So I am an advocate for having your baby the way you need to have it. But with the second birthing, I was at a birth center, and it was only 7 hours. But again, it was so painful because it was back labor that I was screaming through the contractions. And my sister was there. My husband was pressing on my back, and my sister was holding my hands. And after one particularly gnarly contraction, I looked up into her tear-stained face, and she said, "It should never have to be this hard." And a light bulb went on over my head, and I just went, you know what? Even if I never have another baby, and I didn't, I'm going to find a way that people who want a more holistic, unmedicated birthing can do it without the screaming, without all this pain and fear. Because, of course, from the first birthing, I was very fearful of the second one. And the fear turned into terror, and it was ugly. So I did. It took me a while, but I went and found, I actually saw online a Dateline episode many years ago of an obstetrician who was teaching the students or the clients, patients who wanted it, hypnosis for their births. And I was like, that's it. So then I researched it, and I became, I took a training with a regular hypnobirth program. And there was very little hypno in the birthing. So it wasn't what I was looking for, but that's okay. Some people like things simple, and there's nothing wrong with that. But it wasn't for me. So I went, and then I took a lot of courses in hypnosis itself, and then hypnotherapy, and then pain relief or pain management with hypnosis and hypnoanesthesia. Now, for people who don't know, hypnoanesthesia is a real thing that the people out there, and they are rare, but they do exist, who are allergic to medical anesthetics, they work with a hypnotherapist ahead of time. And then they're retrained. Their subconscious mind is basically retrained that the surgeon's knife is going to feel like maybe tingling or just some sort of touch, but without the pain associated with it. And that's what I wanted. And that's what I put into Hypno Babies. I created an entire complete childbirth education course with hypnoanesthesia as the main tool. And of course, there's a lot more to it because it is a childbirth course. So nutrition, exercise, things healthy and low risk, stages of birthing, postpartum, new mom and baby care, and everything else that you can think of. So the rest is history. That was 22 years ago. And I have since then learned as a hypnotherapist that hypnosis can be used for many other things. So I created tracks for our students that were eliminating nausea in pregnancy, eliminating pregnancy insomnia, eliminating the fear of childbirth, eliminating the fear of needles, because everybody needs to go in and have some work done. And many other things, including a fertility program, so that we could get people pregnant. And it really does help people who are on their fertility journey. So there are many other things, of course, along the way that I discovered and created tracks for, but they're super important to us as a community now, as a population all over the world, because since COVID, we have a lot of fear. We have a lot of doubt. We have a lot of, there's fear of hospitals. There's fear of being around other people. Going back into the workforce for those who went through the Great Resignation, dealing with people. And there are so many ways that we need to have better self-confidence and more confidence in the process of getting back into the population and things like that. So, of course, I went out and created a bunch of stuff for that too. But one of the things that I see as a podcast guest is that there are many, many podcasts where people are trying to help other people succeed in business. And so, the whole thing of having a better money mindset means that you're working on all of the wonderful things that people do teach you, the coaches. Everybody has such great information kind of on a practical level. And we need to work on the inside too, so that your belief systems match the things that you're trying to do. So if you don't mind, I'd like to talk about hypnosis for a minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I feel like it's a very specialized field. And there's, this is the first time really I've thought about this type of application to a money mindset. So I find it very interesting because obviously something in your life happened to where you have the belief system that you have. And so if you want to improve upon that self-confidence, the fears that you talked about, you have to get to the root of that. And really having a professional that knows what they're doing to be able to help you shift and get to, on a path that where you want to go. So yeah, definitely talk about that more in the application of the business and the mindset world. Would love to hear.
Okay, so let's talk about hypnosis. And hypnosis is not what people think it is. They think it's the things that they see on stage or on a television show where the hypnotist picks somebody out of the audience and they get up there and they hypnotize them. And then that person quacks like a duck or sings like Elvis and are seemingly unable to not do those things. That is entertainment. It's a lot of fun. And the skill is in the hypnotist finding somebody who wants to play the game and be part of the entertainment.
Yes.
However, real therapeutic hypnosis, which can be used for anything, and I mean anything. You got a fear, you got a phobia, you got a medical issue, whatever it is, hypnosis can help because we all have a subconscious mind that creates everything in our body. So we're going to direct it right to what we want it to be. So real therapeutic hypnosis is different than stage hypnosis, but I want everybody to understand right off the bat that we are all in states of hypnosis every day, many times a day. So when you're falling asleep and when you're waking up, you are in a state of very highly suggestible state, which is why it's great to listen to hypnosis when you're going to sleep and when you're waking up, because your mind just relaxes. It's just super relaxed. But also when we're daydreaming about Hawaii, or the vacation that's coming up to wherever, and anytime that we're in a thing where there's a repetitive thing going on, like even in a long elevator ride where you're seeing those numbers go by, everybody looks at the numbers, you enter a state of hypnosis. Anytime that we're reading, if you're reading a book or a Kindle or a screen, it's a very hypnotic thing for your eyes to be moving back and forth and back and forth. And then your brain goes into an alpha state where your brain waves slow down. And that is a state of hypnosis. And anytime we're on a screen of any kind for more than a few minutes, so there's a lot of screens that we're on, tablets and laptops and our phone, and so anytime you're on that for a while and you're seeing the same thing, the scrolling, the reading, the seeing, the doing, the videos, all of that, you're in a state of hypnosis. Anytime you're watching a movie, whether it's on a big screen or your television or your laptop or whatever, because the movie is moving, it puts you into an alpha state. So you're in a state of hypnosis. And the one that everybody can also relate to is driving. So most of us have experienced, if we do drive, that you're driving along and you're very focused and concentrated on what's going to happen when you get to wherever you're going. And then all of a sudden you're at a traffic light or you're there and you say, what just happened to the last 5 minutes? I don't remember it, but you were in a state of hypnosis. So this is a very natural state that we get into many times a day anyway. But when we're doing real therapeutic hypnosis, we need to relax the body and the mind to get down to a level where the subconscious mind can accept our suggestions. So if you picture that up here is the conscious mind and down here is the subconscious mind, where everything that you've ever heard and seen and believed and thought of and experienced lives, and we need to get down there. In between, there is something called the critical faculty, and we need to make that guy take a nap. So we relax the body first, which allows us to then relax the mind by simply counting backwards, or some hypnosis sessions have you walking downstairs or doing something very relaxing where your mind just starts going, oh, this is wonderful, this is lovely. And you start getting down to that deeper state of hypnosis. In Hypno Babies, we use a somnambulistic state of hypnosis where hypnoanesthesia can be created, but you don't even need to get that deep in order for hypnosis to be effective for you. And then at that time, we don't take anything out, but we do basically give it new software. So we're giving the subconscious new software. We're updating to whatever is going to benefit us. So in the case of this podcast and everybody listening to it or watching it, it would be developing a better money mindset, along with all those other things that you're doing that are very practical to boost your business and all of that. We need to also, in hypnosis, boost our self-confidence, our ability to speak in front of others. The fact that we believe we deserve to have money. And then when not in hypnosis, because those are wonderful things, all that and more gets basically retrained into the subconscious mind, new software. But we also need to have a conscious image of what this all is. That also gets down into the subconscious, but it keeps us focused on what it is that we want. So here's an example. If you really wanted, and your goal was to just buy a VW Bug, how much time would you spend going to dealerships and researching online and asking all your friends and all of this about how to get a Tesla? You wouldn't.
No, right.
You would spend no time on that because it would not get you anywhere near your goal. So what you need to do is, instead of saying, I don't have enough money, I'm not successful, I wasn't successful in that last thing, or anything that's negative, start thinking of things that are positive and visualizing that it's already happened. So this is very much a part of the new money mindset. So for those of you who are in a safe place right now, in a safe place, not driving, not holding a baby, not showering, if you would, please close your eyes and just listen. And when I say these, I want you to imagine this in your life. Okay, so here we go. So visualizing accomplishments is the first step in creating a positive money mindset and achieving financial well-being. So let's imagine that there is a 4-figure balance in your savings account right now, and it's growing. So see that in your own bank account and feel what you would feel if that was the case for you. Okay, now I want you to see that this has already happened. Your highest interest credit card is paid off and there's a 0 balance. So I want you to see that and feel how good it's going to feel when that happens. It's already happened. So see it that way. It feels great. Then I want you to see that you have extra money at the end of each month to be charitable, because that is something that is in many of our hearts. And we're like, how can I do that when I can barely pay my bills? But I want you to see it now. It's already happened. You have that money and you're being charitable. Now, I want you to see that a comfortable retirement will be a reality, because your 401k balance is growing with your contributions and the maximum employer match available. So see it growing and growing, and see yourself being able to know and be confident that you have that retirement fund. And then I want you to see now that there is money each month for self-care, so that you can get your nails done, buy simple things like a new bath bomb or a new pair of shoes or a scented candle, something that you normally wouldn't do for yourself. So see that that's already happened. There is this extra money. And the last one is, I want you to see that you're on vacation at a beautiful resort that you saved for and paid in full. Look around, see what's happening, see that this is just a part of your life and you are loving it so, so much. Okay, now take a deep breath, open your eyes, blow it out. And all those things that we just visualized can be a part of your life every day if you take those things. And I can send you, Angela, a list of these things if you like, for your wonderful viewers. If you take those things and make them into each one into a little affirmation card. Now, affirmations are not airy-fairy or weird or woo-woo. They are positive statements that actually affect your conscious mind and your subconscious mind in a very positive way and keep you focused on your goal. So you're going to make them into little cards and you're going to put them up all over your house and your kitchen and your car. And then every time you see one, not only are you going to say it to yourself, I see this, you're going to feel that it's already happened and you're going to feel the joy around that. So that is a very, very important part of changing your money mindset. And you can do all of this in deep hypnosis if you get a track that is all about that. At Hypno Babies, we have things about self-confidence and focus and concentration, which is really great, and many other things. We don't have one about money mindset, but I know people who do, and they are my favorite hypnotists, and I will point you guys in the right direction. So I will send that to you as well, Angela, if you would like.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple of takeaways from that. For anyone who was listening, maybe he's not watching the video, I was participating as you were going through that. I'm in a safe place sitting in my podcast studio, so I'm not driving. But I'm curious to know from other people, like if we had more people participating, what they visualized. And so for me, when you were talking about like the bank accounts or the savings account, I could see a ticker, and it was like it just the numbers kept going up. So that was like my visualization. And then my vacation, I love the beach. I live in Miami, so I couldn't imagine myself anywhere else. So that was what I was envisioning. And interesting to know, because I'm a big advocate of every day I'm writing down my top 10 goals. Like, what am I working on right now? And then I write a statement. And this is what I learned from one of my mentors was I am grateful. And it's if it had already happened. So one of my goals is to get 100 podcasts by the end of 2023. So I write the goal, and then I write, I am grateful that I've met, interviewed, and promoted 100 women. So that's what I'm grateful for. And then I do close my eyes and I envision what that looks like. So I never really thought of that as hypnotist, right? So just to be able to envision it already happening is helping me focus to that goal. So I love that. I love that activity. And that's a great takeaway for anyone who's working on changing their mindset, but helping them, accomplish the goals that they have in front of them. So that's
and just
awesome.
one more really quick thing about that, because you are so smart, is that if you take several deep breaths in before you start writing your goals or your affirmations or anything like that, take a deep breath in through your nose, hold it for a second, let it out through your mouth, and let your shoulders just sink down. Do that 3 or 4 times, maybe 5. You will go into a state of hypnosis where all of those suggestions go right into your subconscious. Okay,
like
it will be a lighter state, but you will be doing self-hypnosis right in the moment. Not super deep like we do in Hypno Babies, but it will still be more beneficial than just in a conscious state writing those things out.
Yeah. And for me, environment too, I do this. One of the first things I do when I wake up is I am grateful. And I go outside if it's not raining. I go outside, I let my dogs out, they're running around, and I just sit down and I write it out. And then I do my visualization because I love the atmosphere of being outside. It feels positive energy. I like the earth's energy. And for me, if I start my day that way, it helps to keep my positive mindset throughout the day, no matter what's happening. So I love that as well.
Excellent. See how smart you are?
Yeah, and I didn't even know I was practicing, a little bit about what you're teaching. So that's awesome. So I'm going to switch gears. I have a fun question for you. And I know we kind of talked about this before we started recording, but if you could have a superpower or a super talent that wasn't hypnotizing, what would it be and why would you choose it?
Oh, my superpower would be to just infuse mentally into everybody that I see, that I could connect with their brain and just let them know that they're worthy, because we have a lot of low self-esteem and low self-confidence out there, and fear. So and my superpower would be that every little child that I meet, I could infuse with that you are worthy, you are enough, you are smart, you are wonderful, you are kind, you are loving. Because if every day every little kid started out with those affirmations, and we have a free affirmations for kids track. It's not hypnosis, it's affirmations. So they just basically put it on and listen to it, and are like, I am wonderful, I am smart, I am kind, all those things. But if every child did that, if we brought them all up that way, then by the time they got to be your age, and you're significantly younger than me, it would just be normal that everybody had super confidence in themselves, and they knew they were going to be successful because they were worth it. That would be my superpower.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I can imagine in a world like that, the amount of people who do not have like a mental illness or a mental disease. And, you know, oftentimes a lot of the violence that we see in our society is coming from something mentally that's just not functioning properly. So if you started with those children at such a young age, then perhaps you would counteract some of that and fight like mental disease in just the world. So that's incredible. I love that. So you have a lot of information that you can provide to the audience. If our audience wants to know more about, you know, getting in touch with you, how do they best reach you?
Well, first of all, I would like to invite everybody to email me at director@hypnobabies.com if you have any questions about any of this, or you need a specific referral. If you say, well, this is my issue. I need to lose weight. I need to, feel better about myself. I need more self-confidence or whatever. I'll be happy to point you in the right direction to get materials to help yourself. And then the second thing is that we have a website at hypnobabies.com, and it's all about hypnobirthing and pregnancy and fertility and doulas and hypnobabies instructors. However, if you go to our store at hypnobabies-store.com, there is a menu item that says hypnosis for life. And in there we have tracks for all kinds of things, fears and self-confidence and focus and concentration and better study habits, all of these things that we can actually all use in our daily lives. So please feel free to visit that and just let me know if you need anything.
Awesome, Kerry. I really appreciate your time and your expertise today. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, so that concludes another episode of Empower Her Money. I'm your host, Angela Duncan. Hopefully you were able to participate in that activity. If not, make sure you get to a safe place so that you can practice it and implement it into your everyday life. Thanks everyone for joining.